Alright, y'all, so today I'm coming at y'all with an argument that I got a lot in my last video, which I think is pretty inherently stupid. I think it is a reactionary, just sort of knee-jerk, stupid reaction to say the very least, and very, very disingenuous. Think of the kids. This is usually used to be homophobic, just straight up, no other reason. It is always used to just be homophobic and spew vitriol towards gay people, trans people, etc, etc, etc. They've been doing this for shit since like the 60s, maybe even earlier than that, but they've been doing it for a very long time and it has been ineffective for a very long time, and yet they still do it. Outside of their like little niche in group, nobody really falls for this, but they've been so brainwashed, so brain broken even, that they for some reason think that it's an effective argument when if they look back, it's not even the argument that made them homophobic. It is just what homophobic people tell each other as a dog whistle nowadays, and that is all it ever has been. It's a homophobic dog whistle that doesn't work on anybody. It annoys the people that it's meant to annoy, and it lets everybody else know, hey, guys, I'm homophobic. Got him. I'm owning the left right now. But anyways, now that we've established that, how about we actually address it? Since it seems to be so popular, it at least deserves addressing. No it doesn't, but let's pretend it does. Let's pretend that this is an actual idea with some sort of data or some kind of real standing behind it. Think of the kids. Well, I am thinking of the gay, trans, bi, etc, etc kids when I make my arguments. I'm thinking about the people who haven't been allowed to express themselves since their whole entire lifetime probably, and are having to repress themselves even longer until they move out of toxic households, until they move out of your household probably, until they move out of a state, a country, etc, etc, until they fucking move out into a safe place. They have to deal with this. They have to deal with your homophobia, and it's not gonna make anything better. You're not making people less gay by being homophobic, you're just making them repress it. And then we have the people who say, oh, it's a trend. No, it's not. If you look at a graph showing the growth of left-handed people compared to the growth of gay people, it's the exact same graph. Sure, there are more ebbs and flows maybe in the gay people graph than there are the left-handed graph, but let's make some parallels here. Left-handed people were viewed as touched by Satan, I believe. It was something satanic at the very least, but they were viewed as touched by Satan, and they were trained as right-handed people. Now let's give this to gay people. They were viewed as satanic worshippers, fucking a step up if you ask me. They were viewed as Satan worshippers who live in affront to God, and now that they're being socially accepted, they're coming out more, and there's bisexual people, and there's trans people, etc, etc, just like there always has been, but they're allowed to express themselves. This isn't a trend. This is a reaction to a world that allows more people to be themselves. Nothing more than that. It is nothing more than the correction of thousands, maybe even thousands of years of sexual repression and romance repression that kids, teens, adults alike have all had to go through due to people like you shitting on them for existing. That is it. These are the same types of people who believe that the age of 18, the arbitrary age of 18, is the arbiter for every single thing ever. I've seen some convincing arguments on why we should up the voting or down the voting age to 16, and I think honestly it's a pretty good idea. People who have, the right to drive and the right to be somewhat independent should be able to vote, and even if it does make some stupid decisions, ideally in a democracy or a representative republic such as we live in, it would help young people be represented, and if the young people do something stupid, they can just be drowned out by the waves and waves of old people that vote every single election without fail. It is the same people who believe in this arbitrary age of 18 is what I'm trying to say. It is the same people who believe that everything must happen at 18. You must do everything at 18, which just isn't realistic. I know, bringing this back to the point, which is sexuality and children, which sounds kind of weird out of context, but you know how it goes over here. But bringing this back to the point of sexuality and children, you didn't gain sexual attraction to people when you were 18. That just didn't happen. And if it did happen, you either had an extremely late puberty, you were sexually repressed by some sort of figure in your life, or you were just very clueless, I guess. You suddenly didn't gain sexual attraction at 18, is what I'm trying to say here. And it is very naive, and I think stupid, and I think disingenuous to insinuate that we must wait until 18 to teach kids about sex, about homosexuality, about bisexuality, about transgenders, about stuff like that. We shouldn't have to wait till they're 18, because they already fucking know. They learn it from porn, because sexual education is not given to a lot of people living in Republican states. So they learn a harmful, may I add, very harmful version of sex and sexual expression from porn that, frankly, they shouldn't be learning from unless it is, a good resource, which usually it really isn't unless you're looking for resources on how to perform better, which a lot of kids aren't because they aren't really doing it themselves. They're looking at other people doing it. But going back to the core of this, the think of the kids argument is very disingenuous, and I think everybody who uses that argument either knows it or is too stupid to know it. It is very, very, very incredibly disingenuous. It is incredibly stupid to argue, but we do it. We argue this. When I say we, I mean people, not myself. God, no. People argue this because they want to look good. It is an easy, incredibly easy optical dunk to just say, but my kids. It is incredibly easy optical dunk for a lot of normies, for a lot of maybe neocon, neolib types. It is a lot of center-right people who maybe don't upfrontly agree with it, but if they think about it in their heads, they're like, yeah, that sounds reasonable because, they're stupid and uninformed. There's a lot of people like that in the world, and that is who they're appealing to. They're appealing to the uninformed masses, and it hasn't worked. Even though they're appealing to the lowest common denominator is kind of picking up on their bullshit. They're tired of being fed the same think of the kids argument that their grandparents were fed, that their parents were fed, that if they're old enough, they were fed. They're tired of that argument. They need a new one. Come up with a new one, conservatives. I know y'all have like 2 jokes and 2 arguments, but it's about time to come up with a new one. I know how hard it is for you. I know how y'all hate coming up with new things because it's against your ideology to be creative. I know how much y'all hate it, but you gotta, because people are getting tired of this think of the kids bullshit. They're seeing right through it. So you gotta think of something new. You gotta think of, I don't know, maybe suicide statistics that are framed in the most disingenuous way possible to make it seem like it's the transition that does it and not the harm that you cause directly that's doing it. You gotta do something new. And even then, people are gonna see through that bullshit in maybe about 5-6 years, maybe even less than that, because the public is more politically engaged nowadays. They're gonna see right through you. So you might as well just be honest and say that you hate trans people and you're transphobic. Appeal to your most far-right base if you're a politician, because they will reliably vote for you, because they are retarded, because they're idiots, because they don't have anything better to do other than sit in their basement off of mommy's money, sipping on fucking a Mountain Dew with 6 different tabs of Warcraft open or something. The average conservative, the average young conservative, has nothing better to do than just that. And they showcase it every time they decide to get online, every time they decide to walk outside, every time they decide to get in their mobility scooters. They showcase this exact fact, and I have yet to be proven wrong. If you are a conservative, you're either on one side of the deathly unhealthy scale, and if you are a young conservative, that goes even more for you. But either way, I think I've ranted long enough for today. If you like this video, leave a like, and if you dislike this video, let's use a code word. I think our code word for today is LeBron. If you use code word LeBron in your comment and you leave a hate comment, I will genuinely look at it. I will genuinely think about it. But if you don't, it's getting deleted. I'm sorry, and you're getting banned from the channel. That's just how it is. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. But anyways, I'll see y'all guys next time. Bye.
Learning how to hold on. Ball-headed nigga out here looking like Frozen. I admit that I was caught in my emotions. Life comes in layers, be prepared for the ozone. Can you put me back where you found me? Maybe I was better off drowning. Maybe I was better off never stepping foot on Rhode Island. There is no going back to small town things, it's too late. Looking at the sky, it's cloudy.